Good morning students, welcome to another lecture on microprocessor and microcontrollers. In this lecture I am going to discuss about the serial peripheral interfacing. So serial peripheral interfacing is a synchronous communication, and this was serial peripheral interfacing was introduced by Motorola and is the simplest synchronous full duplex communication protocol. Full duplex means we can transmit and receive the data at a time. Okay, here we have two terminals in that one, and here in order to transmit and receive the data we are having multi things. See here, SPI is a single master multi-slave system. That means one master will be there and the data will be transmitted to multiple slaves, and the data which I have to send to the slave will be decided by the master itself by the help of a pin called a slave select pin. See here, SPI requires 4 signal lines for communication. That means in order to transmit from master to slave, this master require 4 signal lines for communication. First one is MOSI, master out slave in. That means master is transmitting the data and slave is receiving the data. See here, master out slave in signal carries the data from the master to slave device. It is also called as slave data in. That means it is taking the data in, or slave input, accepting the data as input from the master, or data in. So the next one is MISO, master in slave out, master in slave out. Here the receiver will be a master and the transmission section will be a slave. That means here master in slave out signal line carries the data from slave to the master. That means here we are transmitting the data from master slave to master. Okay, so it is also called as slave data out. See the above one and see here, it is a slave data in. It is here slave data out, slave input, slave output, data in, data out. So coming to the next one, serial clock. See these signals, serial clock signal line carries the clock information. As we have already seen that in this peripherals only the master will provide clock to the slaves also. And coming to the next one, SS, which is a slave select. That means as I have already told you that we have only one master and we have multiple slaves, and the which slave is to be selected, or the data or which the master is sending will be received by which slave is decided by this SS pin. I repeat, here we are going to select the slave to which the data is to be sent from the master will be decided by this slave select pin. So this is the this is the block diagram here. Serial peripheral interfacing between master and slave signal. This is a master and this is a slave here. See here, see clock in the this is transmission section and this is receiver section. See here, a clock signal is being generated to both master and the slave here. See, the clock signal is given to the master shift register and the latch, along with the latch which is present in the slave and the shift register which is present in the slave. Okay, so initially the data which is to be sent from the master to the slave is being sended by the shift register through a latch by the pin called MOSI, that is master out slave in, and this data is being sent to the slave. Okay, and the data which is to be sent from the slave to the master will be given by MOSI pin, that is master out slave in pin. I repeat, here whenever we are transmitting data from master to slave, then we are choosing MOSI pin, that is master out slave in pin, and whenever we are transmitting the data from slave to the master, then we are using MOSI pin, that is master out slave in. And what type of slave is to be selected is depending upon this SS pin, that is a slave select pin. Okay. This is the brief description about that block diagram. And here in the SPA protocol we have clock phase and clock polarity. I repeat, clock phase and clock polarity. Based on these things we have a different mode. See here, if clock phase is equals to 0, a read on the leading edge of the each clock pulse, written on the trailing edge of the each clock pulse. I'll discuss in the next slide here. And see here, if clock polarity is high, then the writing will be done on leading edge, and the reading will be done on the trailing edge, that is falling edge. Okay, so if clock polarity is 0, it is an inactive state, and if clock polarity is 1, it is an inactive state is high here and it is low here. That means there is no fundamental difference between these two polarities. One, the only difference is that just the complement of the other one. See here, 0 and its complementary form is 1. So the combination of two bits, CPOL and CPHA, clock polarity and clock phase, give 4 standard modes in SPI, which are listed in the following table. See, I am going to here, see here, based on the clock polarity and clock phase, there are 4 modes here. So for explanation I am considering mode 0 and mode 3 here. This is mode 0 and this is mode 3. See here, in mode 0, when both the inputs are 0, that means clock polarity and clock phase are equals to 0. So if clock phase is equals to 0, then reading will be in leading edge, that means raising edge. That see here, so here it is a raising edge, so reading is to be taken place here, that is data is been readed here. And if CPAL, in the same sense, reading in the leading edge and writing on the trailing edge. See here, writing, that means here it is a trailing edge, that means reading read operation will perform in the leading edge, and write operation perform in the what we call trailing edge. Okay, see here the same polar, in the coming to the first polar, mode 3 here, or see, and one more thing is MOSI, this is master out slave in, that means master, this is master and this is slave, and these are the data bits which we are going to transmit from the master to the slave, and these are transmitted bits and these are received bits. This data is transmitted in the master and this data is received in the slave. Coming to the mode 3 operation, that is both the difference here, both are 1. See here, that here when CPE, that means the clock polarity is high, writing on the leading edge and reading on the trailing edge, writing on the leading edge. See here, why we have taken this one is see here, on the falling edge we have writing data or writing operation, and on leading edge we have reading operation here. Okay, it's a converse of this one, see. Okay, and this SS means slave selector will be done. So as this is a active low, see here, inactive state is low and inactive state is high, so here it is an inactive state, that means the operation will be performed whenever the clock pulse is in 0 state. Okay, so these bits are transmitted from the master and these bits are received from the slave. Okay. And coming to the different ways, there are two ways of connecting multiple slaves to a single master. For example, I have already told you that master will be one and the slaves will be many, and that in that concept there are two ways of connecting multiple slaves to a single master. In both the cases, the master provides clock to all the slaves, and the slaves can be addressed individually. See here, we have considered two cases here. First one is individual bus with slaves individually selected, and the second one is daisy chain. First of all, I am going to discuss about this one. See here SCLK, system clock, MOSI, MISO, SS1 and SS2. That means here system clock, okay, MOSI, here it is a serial clock, not system clock, serial clock, MOSI, master out, serial in, slave in, MISO, master in, slave out. See here, we have considered two slaves here, that is SS1 and SS2 here. See, the clock pulse is from the master is given to both slave 1 as well as slave 1 as well as slave 2 from the master itself, and the data is been transmitted from master signal, master out to slave in. Here we are transmitting the common data for both the slaves. See here, master data is been transmitted to slave 1 as well as slave 2 here. See here, master slave 1 and slave 2, okay, and the data is been received from MISO pin, master in, slave out. That means from this pin we are receiving the data, and from this pin also we are receiving the data through a single channel. Okay, here the master block will decide what type of decides individually that what type of slave must be selected. Okay, coming to the daisy chain method, see here, common serial clock is common to both, so for a slave 1 and slave 2. So see here the difference with, see here, here the data which is sent to through MOSI, see here MOSI is sending, that is master out slave in data is sending to only slave 1, and from the slave 1 the master in slave out data is being transmitted to MOSI, master out slave in. See here, that means the data present in this slave is being transmitted to this slave, and the data which is present in this slave is being transmitted to the master here. I repeat one, check it carefully. System clock is been given to both the slaves here. It is a common thing between daisy chain and previous one. But coming to the next one, MOSI, master out slave in, here the data is been sent to both the slaves in the first one. Here the data is been sent to only first slave, not to the second slave. From this slave 1 the data is been transmitted to slave 2. I repeat, from master we are transmitting the data to slave 1 but not slave 2, and the data which is present, that means a slave out master in data will be sended from slave 1 to slave 2. Okay, and the data present, that is serial out, slave out master in, slave out data will be given to the master. Okay, and the slave select is been done through master only. That means whether it has to send the data or whether it has to receive the data. So coming to the features of the SPI mode, it is a 7 or 8 bit data length, as I have already told you. And LSB of the LSB first or MSB first, they transmit and receive. Either it may be LSB or it may be MSB. Okay, it is a 3 pin or 3 pin and 4 pin. Mostly the most effectively used is a 4 pin SPI operation. It works on master or slave modes, as I have already told you. Independent transmit and receive shift register. Each and every clock have independent shift registers, as we have seen here in the block diagram. That means each and every even here master has the shift register and slave has an individual shift register. Like that, each and every independent transmit and receive shift register, separate transmit and receive buffer register also. Okay, so continuous transmit and receive operation. Why? Because the data is been transmitted here in a serial circular fashion. That means the data is transmitting continuously. So continuous transmit and receive operation. Selectable clock polarity and phase control. Clock polarity and phase control will be available in this SPI mode. Programmable clock frequency is in master mode only. That means we are not having any clock in the slave mode. And independent interrupt capability for receive and transmit slave operation in LPM4. This means interrupt independent capability. The interrupts having independent capability for receiving and transmitting the data to slave operation. So that's all for now. And coming to the master mode and slave mode, how they are going to work. See here this is master mode and this is we are discussing about master mode. In this master mode, the data is to be transmitted from master to the slave. See, in master we have both transmit shift register as well as receive shift register. We have both the registers here, and receive buffer register and transmit buffer register. So the data which is present in the master is being transmitted to slave through SIMO pin, that is slave in master out pin. Slave in master out pin, and the data transmitted from this master will be received to the slave through this SMIO pin, and the data which is to be transmitted from slave to master will be sent through SOMI pin, that is a slave out master in pin, and the clock signal is being given from master to the slave. Okay, and the converse of this one is a slave mode. Okay, as I have told you that it is an 8-bit mode. So coming 8-bit, coming to the bit representation, in bit 0 it is a synchronous mode is enabled. That means what type of mode we need to enable it, whether it is in a synchronous mode or it is in synchronous mode. If the bit position is 1, then it will operate in synchronous mode, and if the bit position is 0, then it will operate in asynchronous mode. Coming to the bits 1 and 2, we are choosing USCI mode. That is suppose if we are choosing 00 mode, that means 3-pin mode. As I have told you that it is a 3-pin or a 4-pin operation. Okay, so if the bit value is 00, then this SPI operates in 3-pin mode. If it is 01, then SPI operate with active high, and if it 10, it is also an active high, and if it 11, and it relax is an I2C inter-integrated circuit format. Coming to the bit 3, master mode selection. That means whether it is a slave mode or master mode, which type of mode we need to work or we need to operate will be selected by this one. If it is 0, then we are choosing for slave mode, and if it is 1, then we are choosing for master mode. Bit 4, it is a 7-bit character length. We are checking for the character length. If it is a 0, we are transmitting 8 data bits, and if it is 1, we are transmitting 7 data bits. So bit 5, UCMSB. MSB bit is first, that means whenever the data is or whenever this bit is 0, we are transmitting LSB first, and whenever this data bit is 1, we are transmitting the MSB bit in the first one. Okay, next one is clock polarity select, whether falling edge or rising edge. See here, if it is 0, then inactive state is low, that means a positive clock. Okay, as positive means here inactive state is low, that means suppose it is a clock CLK complement, for example CLK complement. So whenever we are entering this, means it will communicate a positive way, positive clock. Okay, if it is 1, then it is high and it is a negative clock. Okay, coming to the bit 7, clock phase select. Here we have selected the polarity, here we are selecting for the phase. If it is 0, then read on the leading edge and write on the trailing edge. Already I have explained you. Okay, and if it is 1, read on the leading edge and write on the leading edge and read on the trailing edge of the clock. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you.